I know this is a sensitive topic, so can I preface by saying that if you enjoy wearing the hijab, this video is not for you. Please don't argue with my followers in the comments, because it's okay for you to have a good time being covered up, but that's not what we're talking about here. Cool. So I was born in Canada, and my parents enrolled me in a Islamic school from kindergarten until first grade. I don't know how the hell they found an Islamic school, but they did. Okay. So I actually went to Islamic school for the first couple years of my life, and I was wearing the hijab, and so were the other girls in the school. So I didn't feel like an outsider. I didn't feel excluded. I didn't even really process what was happening as a child. When I went to second grade is when my parents enrolled me in public school. I was in second grade when 9/11 happened, all right? And I was wearing the hijab to school. So obviously, nobody liked me. I didn't have any friends. My friends were my sisters. So right off the bat, I'm facing extreme racism and isolation because of the hijab, all right? So I was already bitter and resentful. But it's not about my feelings. It's about logic and facts. So let's talk about this concept. If the hijab was truly protection, then two things. Number one, we need to ask protection from who? And number two, we need to ask, is this a valid protection suit? Because if the answer to the first question is protection from men, then that implies that men are inherently dangerous to women, okay? They are a threat to women. We know this, right? This is not new information. But how come no one asks if this suit is valid enough protection? Because in my opinion, if it was valid enough protection, then it would be a full metal armor suit. That's protection gear, okay? Because a man can't easily rip that off of you if he wants to violate you. He can't throw something at you and hurt you if he wants to violate you. He can't beat you up. He can't stab you. He can try, but it's going to be very difficult for him to actually hurt you because you're wearing a protection suit. All right, so automatically, this concept of the hijab being protection from men fails because it implies that you are free from harm while you wear the suit, and that is simply not the case. Women get murdered, women get assaulted, women get raped, women get brutalized while wearing hijab. And when you tell them that it's protection, then in their mind, if they get violated while wearing the hijab, they automatically assume it was their fault. They blame themselves, and the man gets off the hook scot-free. I also don't believe that the hijab is empowering or that it gives you freedom as a woman. Because again, we have to ask, empowering from who and freedom from who? Empowering for you as a woman because a man doesn't get to look at you and see your full body, yet he is imagining your full body in his mind regardless of what you're wearing. And I experienced this multiple times as a hijabi. I didn't choose this face, all right? So imagine this face and then everything else covered up. I got sexualized. A lot more than I get sexualized for showing my body and hair. And I know that religious people don't want to believe this because in their mind, it's like the hijab is the ultimate protection from sexualization. But it's simply not true, okay? And when we tell women to cover up so that men don't sexualize them, we make their sexuality wrong. We make women feel like their bodies are wrong, like their bodies are sinful. And if your body is sinful, then how does covering it make you free? Please answer that question for me. How are you gaining freedom by having a body that you think in your mind is sinful and covering it up? Truth is, most Muslim girls do not choose to wear the hijab. They are taught about it from a young age. They are made to think that it's an exciting thing, that it's great, that God is going to reward them, that it's protection, that it's empowering, that it's freedom. Okay, and so they put it on thinking it's a good thing, but they didn't actually choose it. We are taught to believe that covering up is right and being immodest is sinful. Showing your body is sinful. That means that everyone who views Muslim women view them in terms of how covered they are to judge their purity and their value. So if you're being judged for your purity and your value based off of how covered you are because your body is inherently sinful, then what are you actually protecting yourself from? Because you're not protecting yourself from being harmed by men, you're not protecting yourself from being sexualized by men, and you're not protecting yourself from being judged by men. Therefore, the only logical explanation is that it is a form of control. It is a form of mind control. I know you think it's physical control, but it's really not physical control. It's mind control. Because if you can get women to believe that their bodies are sinful, so they must cover them up in order for a man to not attack them or to not sexualize them, then essentially what you're doing is controlling them instead of controlling men. And we all know that men are dangerous to women regardless of what you're wearing. We also know that men flip the script every chance they get, which is why they're never satisfied, which is why they can have a devout Muslim wife that's fully covered head to toe and still cheat on her with a girl who is the complete opposite. Totally uncovered, showing her hair, showing her body, being immodest. The truth about the hijab is that it was always meant to convince women that it's their responsibility to make sure they don't get harmed. And that's just not the case, you guys. You can't prevent yourself from being attacked by a man. They are unpredictable and insane. If they want to hurt you, they will hurt you, regardless of what you're wearing. If they want to fantasize about you, they will fantasize about you regardless of what you're wearing. Actually, they will fantasize more when they can't even see the full thing, because you know men love to use their imagination, right? If you can't be dressed normally without sending men into a frenzy, then the real issue is the fact that they cannot control their lust, not the fact that you are a woman. You being a woman is not a sin. You being a woman is not evil. You being a woman does not make you lesser than a man. So when we tell women they need to cover up to protect themselves, we're telling them you need to obey. You need to comply. You need to follow the rules. You need to protect yourself from danger. Danger that you don't see coming because males are insane and they will hurt whoever they want to.